Hey English 111, Miss Brewer here with your weekly lecture video. So this is a big week because you guys are going to write your papers. And at this point in time, you should have submitted a thesis and outline. Today is Monday. You can expect feedback on your thesis and outline no later than Wednesday. So just be on the lookout for that. I will provide feedback even if you get a perfect grade. I will still provide feedback. I do this by inserting comments into your submission via Moodle. So when you look at your grade, you have to scroll kind of down to the bottom and then click on annotated PDF, and then that will show you the comments that I put into your assignment, like right where they're at. So if there's an issue, you can see right where the issue is. So do make sure that you review your comments on your thesis and outline, specifically on your thesis statement, because if it needs work, then I will give you some suggestions where I can to try to help you with that. So very important, okay? Don't wait for my feedback to start your paper. Just go ahead and start your paper, but know that you might be making some tweaks, okay, as you go. So what we're looking at now is it's time for you to write. It's imperative that you utilize all of the sources that I'm providing for you when you're writing your paper. So we're gonna start here, and if you will just open up Moodle and click on this week for the literary analysis and MLA presentation. This is really important stuff, so please follow along with me, okay? So I'm opening up the PowerPoint, and this is just reviewing what we're doing when it comes to MLA format. So I just like to go to slideshow and kind of look at the whole thing. So from the beginning, we're talking about our literary analysis essay, and we're talking about how to format it. Now you guys already learned basic formatting, okay? We did that at the beginning of the semester. You took a quiz. Now we're talking about papers. So your MLA formatted paper, first of all, you must use Microsoft Word. You have to submit your paper in Microsoft Word. I cannot grade it otherwise, so make sure you're doing that. You need to have 1-inch margins all the way around the paper, Times New Roman 12-point font. You need double spacing through the entire paper. And it's really important that you go into Microsoft Word, you go into paragraph settings, and you ensure that your before and after are both set to 0. I already went over how to do this, but just to refresh your memory, just go to paragraph settings in Microsoft, look down for where the before and the after are. Oftentimes Microsoft will set the after to 8 and you want it on 0. That will stop you from getting any extra space in your paper. So do that. Make sure you have a header at the top of every page. The header, you use the header function, insert page number, and then type your name and put a space. Make sure that the font in the header is Times New Roman 12-point. You'll probably have to change it, so make sure you do that. The heading is on the first page only. The heading does not go in your header function. It's the first thing that you type. So it's 1 inch from the top of the page, 1 inch from the left of the page. So your top left, and remember your heading is your name, then my name, then the course, and then the date. Day, month, year, no punctuation. Your title should be centered. There should be no special font, no quotation marks. The only italics you should use is for the title of the book. So if you say 9 stories, then you would use italics. If you're putting both of the titles of the stories in your title, so let's say I use Teddy and I use Perfect Day for Banana Fish, they would go in quotation marks because that's proper punctuation for a short story. Otherwise, nothing else. Don't underline, no bigger, bold, all 12-point Times New Roman font. Make sure you indent your paragraphs. So you are analyzing the literature. That's the purpose here. And we went over this last week with the literary analysis details. So it is very important that in that introductory paragraph, you mention 9 stories, you mention J.D. Salinger, and you mention the 2 stories that you're going to be analyzing. That's probably going to be in your thesis, okay? So what is the author saying about a particular topic? If you're choosing theme and you want to talk about the effects of war on soldiers, then you would say, you know, J.D. Salinger is saying this about the effects of war on soldiers, and you can use it, you can say in A Perfect Day for Banana Fish, and this and through the characters of, or through symbolism, or through imagery, or through dialect, tone, conversation, whatever. You pick how you're going to analyze that. And then you have to, of course, provide the evidence, and that's taking selections, specific quotations from the book, as well as your scholarly articles. It is important that you remember that in your thesis statement, you are telling what you're going to prove without using I, of course. So in the novel, 9 stories through the short stories, this and this, J.D. Salinger is saying this, how, in this way, okay? That's your formula. If you want to make a formula for a thesis, that's it, okay? Identify the novels, identify the short stories. What is he saying? How is he saying it? That's your formula. And then, of course, as you move on, you'll provide the text and things like that tie back to that. So, paper expectations. In your introductory paragraph, these are your words only. There should be no citations. It should be coming directly from your brain, and it is short, okay? So an intro paragraph is not long. An intro paragraph gives a little bit of background and then hits me with that thesis statement. Your thesis is the last sentence to 2 sentences of the introductory paragraph. Your conclusion paragraph, again, you're not introducing any information. You are just starting small and kind of restating your thesis and then broadening out to talk about the significance of the topic as a whole. So if I was sticking with that same thing I just talked about and my thesis was something about the effects of war, I would, restate my thesis, not in the same exact words, but restate my thesis and then kind of broaden out to, it is imperative that there are conversations about PTSD because these effects impact not only the soldiers, but their families or something like that, okay? So super important that you kind of follow that pattern, and I provide a resource for you guys. It's a great graphic organizer. If you can print it out, you can fill in everything and kind of create your intro and your conclusion and see how they kind of mirror each other. Your body of the paper. It's very important that you have a topic sentence at the beginning of each paragraph and that you have a transition sentence at the end of each paragraph. So your topic sentence is like a mini thesis and it's introducing what you're going to prove in that particular paragraph. Then you have evidence, which is quotes from the book, quotes from the articles, your analysis surrounding that information, and then a transition sentence that you write where you introduce the next topic. Very important that that happens. It is really important that you cite information, whether it is from the book or from your scholarly articles, even if it's not a quote. If it's something that you pulled and summarized, you have to cite it. In academic writing, this is really important. We do not use personal pronouns. No I, no me, no we, no you, no our, none of it. It is in third person entirely, so that's really important to remember. Do not use personal pronouns. We do not use contractions, so don't say can't. Write out cannot, okay? We do not ask questions at all. We answer them, okay? So no asking questions. There's no like, have you ever wondered? First of all, that's a personal pronoun. Second of all, it's a question, all right? We do not directly address the reader. So imagine a world, right? You didn't say you, but you implied you, okay? So do not directly address your reader. Any numbers or symbols that are under 100, you need to spell out. So don't write 93% in a 9 and a 3 and a percent sign. Write the word 93 out and the word percent out. Your quotes, you should never start or end a paragraph with a quote. And that's what I just went over, the paragraph structure. So you have a topic sentence, that's your words. You have a transition sentence at the end, your words. So you should never start or end a paragraph with a quote. And then also your quotes should not be back to back because you should always be providing analysis that ties your quote back to the topic sentence, what you're proving, and to the thesis ultimately. So in your citations, do be sure that you are citing from your parenthetical citations. So you have parentheses, and we utilize the first couple of words of the full citation. So you create your works cited page. What is the first couple of words on that citation? Most of the time, it's going to be an author's last name. If there are 2 authors, both of them, okay? So if it's just Salinger, and you only are using 9 stories, then you would say Salinger and then the page number, okay? There's usually a page number available, either on the PDF that I provided or in the PDFs of the articles that you found. So make sure that you're using the correct page numbers. So if it's a journal or an article and it's the first page, but the first page starts on page 355, then it shouldn't be 1, it should be 355. Okay, I can see on the full works cited page where the journal pages start. So it's really important that you're accurate there. There's no punctuation inside of the parentheses. The only thing that goes there, if I'm doing Salinger, it's Salinger 15. No P, no P period, no PG, no comma, none of that inside of the parentheses. Author's last name, page number. If there's more than one author, put the 2. If there are 3 or more, you can use et al. And then make sure that your period comes after the citation. So when you're writing your sentence, you have a quote, don't punctuate inside the quote, put your citation in parentheses, the citation ends your sentence, period after the citation. Super important. So your works cited page, you should have at least 3 things listed. You should have 9 stories listed, and then you should have the 2 articles that you're choosing to use listed. Your works cited page is in alphabetical order. Make sure that it is still in Times New Roman format. So if you copied and pasted from the LRC, which is totally fine, but if you copied and pasted that article citation, make sure it's not highlighted or weird, and make sure that it is in the proper font. You also need to use hanging indentations. So what that means is you do not indent the first line of the citation, and every line after is indented. Do check the examples that I provide in Moodle, so you can double check on what that looks like. And it should be the final page of your paper. So if your paper is 4 pages long, your works cited page is number 5. It's the 5th page. That's really important. So that just kind of reviews MLA formatted papers for y'all. Then I give you a little video on writing an introductory paragraph. I give you a PDF to write effective introductions, a video on how to organize your essay, and then that essay organizer helps you to organize your intro paragraph. Then it helps you to kind of get an idea of how to format your body paragraphs, okay? There's only 3. Obviously you're using more than 3 paragraphs in this paper, but it's so you get the idea, and your conclusion paragraph. There's some basics on in-text citations. There's a sample works cited page. There's a sample MLA formatted paper that has notes so you can kind of review it. So make sure that you utilize all of these resources when writing your paper this week, okay? At the end of the week, you're gonna do 2 things, okay? And this is very important. You're going to submit your paper to the Rough Draft Peer Edit Forum. So you'll create a thread, you'll just write your name or last name, whatever, however you wanna do it, Rough Draft, and you'll create the thread, and then in that you will upload the Microsoft Word document. That's all you have to do this week. Just upload it there, okay? In Moodle, that is. Next week, I will go over how you're gonna complete your peer edit. So that's what you'll be doing next week. In addition to uploading your rough draft to the forum, you are required to utilize NetTutor to get feedback on the paper. So there's a link right above Rough Draft Peer Edit Forum. Click on it, submit your paper to the NetTutor, asking for feedback on grammar, on flow, on MLA format, whatever you want help with there, okay? And they will send you an email with a PDF with very detailed feedback. You will then, next week, you're gonna be required to upload that feedback that you got from them for a grade in Moodle. So don't skip that. So you need to turn your paper in 2 places, neither of which are technically to me, okay? You're doing to the forum by Sunday night, and you're uploading it to NetTutor, okay? So that's super important. And in the meantime, this week, if you have questions while you're writing the paper, please shoot me an email. Remember that we do have our semester break on Friday, so the college will be closed. So do try to get as much written before the weekend as you can, and I'll try to check in on my emails on Saturday morning and on Sunday morning to answer any questions you might have. So at this point, it's kind of time for you to write. So I'll provide you guys with some feedback on those thesis and outlines that were turned in, and I will provide that feedback by Wednesday at the latest. But just jump in and start writing. You can always revise later if you need to. Again, any questions, feel free to contact me, and please utilize all the resources that are available. Have a great week writing.